Today I want to show you how you can use your cards that you've got in your subscription box in a different way. I've got here the easel cards, so these come in the smaller size that you've got here that you fold up with your piece to go on the top there, and then you've got the larger one as well. So I've taken one of each, but we're going to use them in a slightly different way today. I'm going to, instead of folding it down, I'm going to fold it back on itself, and then I'm going to take the other small easel cards and do the same. So when we mat and layer them on top, we're getting this type of mechanism, okay, which is like a Z fold card. Now I want to use my beautiful Creator card die that cuts inside, because the detail in this is absolutely amazing. Now the smaller card, or the smaller square that goes with your easel, fits on, but I'm still not getting, I wanted a nice white border because it just fits on, but I just wanted a little border to it. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to die cut it out of the larger piece. So let's do that straight away. So I'm just going to use the junior for this today. So I've got my cutting mats. I'm going to pop this into the middle because I'm going to use probably that's around for another project, and I'm going to put some tape to hold that in place. And with the normal sandwich, which is clear plastic, magnetic, and your cloudy cutting plate, I'm going to pass that through my junior. Layer all that up and pop that through. I always think as well with this, it's quite a good idea to actually emboss it, because you have got so much detail there. So I'm going to pop my embossing mat in and take my magnetic away, and now take those little pieces off there. You can see how the pieces are falling out straight away. Pass that through the machine. Okay, and then remove the tape. You can see already how the pieces are just falling out, so no problem at all. And then you can just go back in with your pokey tool and just get those last few bits out. Okay, so you can see the detail there. It's absolutely beautiful, this die, and I think it's something that you will use time and again. And what I like about it, it's the size, because it's a smaller size, so it's great for those smaller cards. You don't always have to make big statement cards, so I just think it's something that you're going to use time and again. So I've got all the pieces out of there, and then with a pair of scissors, all I've done is I've cut round the edge to give myself a border. And if you're not confident about doing it with a pair of scissors, you can quite easily go in with your trimmer, your paper trimmer, but I'm just pushing a border all the way around the edge. So let me move this out of the way so you can see what I've done. I've got the next step ready. So I've cut my my frame out, and I've actually glued it onto the acetate that you also get in the kit. And how I've glued that is I've used my tacky glue, and I just put a bit on the back of my hand, dab that on, and I've put that onto my acetate and let that dry. I've also added the pearls on all four corners. These are the larger pearls that you get in the kit, and I've put those on the four corners because then with my 3D glue gel I can put a blob on the underneath to raise that up and you won't see it. So let me just cut the last of the acetate away. Okay, so let's move that out the way, and the pearls. So that is now all ready, but before we go any further, let's do the next stage. Now this is the smaller of your two easel cards, and then with that beautiful pattern paper that you get in the collection, I've already gone ahead and I have covered one of these with my pattern papers. Okay, so I've just used the Carlisle All Purpose and just let that dry really well. So once you've got that dry, you can go back in and just burnish your score marks. So just find the one on that side, so just burnishing those down. Okay, so that's ready for our cards, and I'm going to 3D on that onto the top of there, so you can see how that's going to look already. But let's look at the base that we've got here now. So with the base, I wanted to use some of the stamps that we get in the kit, because we get lots of beautiful stamps in these kits, and sometimes we're not using them to their full potential. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my rocker block, pop that out of the way for now, get my rocker block, and I'm going to get the sentiment that says especially for you, because I think that's going to be perfect for this card. So I'm going to pop that onto my rocker block there. And I'm going to go in with some of my new Spectrum Noir inks. These are the Harmony ink pads. I'm using the orange one here. So I'm going to use that for my sentiment. So I'm just going to lightly tap. Okay. Making sure you've got your sentiment round the right way. And I'm going to start at the bottom right hand corner, and then stamp my image, and then I'm going to turn a quarter turn, ink up well again, making sure I've got it the right way around, and I'm going to stamp that again. So what this is going to do, it's going to give a frame to our project. Now these are going to fold over, so this time I'm stamping on this side, so I need to do a quarter turn, ink up my sentiment again, and to hold it out flat is easier, making sure it's round the right way and stamping the sentiment. And then the last one needs to come down here, so inking that up again, to come down there. Okay, so as that folds flat, you can see you've got that nice sentiment round, and then when we attach this to our card, you can see you're getting that nice frame there. But this still looks a little bit plain. So I'm going to go in with some more stamps. So I need to just clean that one off. And a great way of cleaning your stamps is I've got just a damp chamois leather here. Just a normal car chamois leather. And if I put that on the corner of my desk, it's just a great way to clean off those stamps. So I can put that away where it lives. So I'll pop that in there. And the next stamp I'm going to use is, I like these flower ones because I think it matches quite nicely. So I'm going to take the larger one and also the smaller one from the collection. And I'm going to use, this time, I'm going to use a bit of Lagoon. So let me pop the bigger one onto my rocker block ready. I can see where I need to stamp. I just need to stamp some bits just in between, just to take that off. So it's just saving using your pattern paper. So a great way of using your stamps with these lovely ink pads that we've now got here. So just get the lid off this. So that is the Lagoon. Now with this I'm going to do what's called a second generation stamping. So let me just find a scrap of paper. So I've got a scrap of paper here, and I'm going to do second generation stamping. So I'm going to move that out the way. So when you do second generation stamping, because this colour is quite dark, but I think it matches really well with the papers. So that's the dark. And then if you go in with second generation, and don't be afraid to come off the page as well, because I think that looks quite nice. So I'm just going to do some second generation stamping. So I'm going to now get this all stamped up, and you can do yours too. You can see now how that's coming together, but I'm now going to go in with the smaller flower. So let me just clear this all up. So just using my chamois to clean that off, and I'm going to now go in with the smaller flower, and this time I'm going to use the Frosted Jade, because I think we've got some of this colour in here. You know, look at the papers you've got, and with these Harmony ink pads you can quite easily go in and pick out the colours. So with the Frosted Jade, if I ink this up, you'll see that you've got a nice softed muted colour that picks up the green. So I'm not going to second generation stamp this time, so I'm just going to go in with first generation, and I'm just going to pop some of these flowers in between. Let's just see if I've got enough on there now. So when we go to add our papers, you can see you've got that nice background. So using your stamps with your ink pads is a great way to add additional patterns to your cards. So let me pop the lid on there, and again just wipe off the ink and remove the stamp there. So now we can start assembling our card. So you can see we've got the card base there, and what I'm going to do is put glue onto here for the back, and only glue onto the halfway piece here to go on the front of there. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. So I think I'm going to go in with the tacky, so I've got a nice quick grip. So in with your tacky, round the edges, okay, let's remove that dry blob of glue just there, we don't need that on there. Okay, look at your pattern paper so I know I've got the piece round the right way, and then just centralising it up. I'm just eyeballing it, as I call it here, where I'm just looking, but if you're a bit concerned, just go in with a pencil and measure your area. But with the cards that you've got in the kit, these do match beautifully together. And then with a bone folder, just give that a quick burnish down. Okay, so that's that part of the card done. So you've got that lovely Z fold there. All right, and so that's all there nicely, which is good. And then I'm going to bring in our acetate piece that we've done, and I've also, with the bow from the ribbons from the collection, you get all different types of ribbons. I've used the biggest ribbon and made a beautiful bow. And then with these little die cuts, you know, don't forget about these little die cuts in your kit. Use them, they are just fabulous to use and perfect on little cards. So what I've done here is I've actually used some of the pattern paper, and I've picked out the orange colour there. So I've got exactly the same orange. I'm just having a look to see if I can find the scraps to show you what I've used. There we go, there's the scraps there. So that's what I've done, is I've actually die cut the orange flowers out, and I put little pearls again in the middle there, and then I've die cut some of these beautiful little fir leaves, because I just think they're exquisite. And the thing is, these dies are in your kit, so use them because they are just fabulous. Everything matches together. So let me move my ink pads out of the way a moment, and we can start assembling this. Now if you remember, I said with the acetate I put my big pearls on there to help me position where I want to put my 3D glue so I don't see it. So I've got some 3D glue here in my syringe, and I'm going to pop a blob where I can see the pearls. So this is a great way of hiding your 3D glue. Now if you can't get hold of your 3D glue, do not panic, because you can quite easily just use foam pads. So you could use foam pads for that as well. So let's position this down, so just holding your card flat and just go in just to give that a little 3D look. And then I'm going to add my bow with the 3D glue as well. So I'm just going to pop that at the top, and then I've got some of these little flowers just to finish the card off, and I think they do finish the card off, so please don't forget to use your little dies because they're just exquisite. So just with the 3D glue, and when you're adding things like flowers to a corner of a card, it is quite good to do it in odd numbers. They stand out a bit more if you do it in odd numbers. And then with the leaves, I'm just going to poke a few of these leaves underneath with the gel. Again, everything matches. The ribbons are matching the cardstock, so it all goes beautifully together. You know, I've not got to think, is that the right colour? It all matches beautifully. And you can even, you've even seen with me stamping, using those Harmony ink pads, how nicely they match as well. So it's just a different way of using your easel cards, because easel cards are great and the kits are brilliant. I'm just loving using the kits, and I know you are too, but it's just a great way of using them in a different way. So that's my card all finished. The glue just needs to dry, but you've got that Z fold card using two of your easel cards, and I think you will agree it just looks that little bit different with what you've got in your kit. So look at what you've got in your kit and make some fabulous cards with it.